Imagine waking up from major surgery.
Okay.
But, instead of those harsh fluorescent lights or the relentless beeping of monitors and maybe a rushed 3-minute visit from a completely overworked nurse.
Right. The typical hospital experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine the environment is entirely different. You are recovering in this sunlit luxury suite, and it's overlooking the Bangkok skyline.
Wow.
You have a dedicated private nursing team managing your pain. You've got 5-star hospitality catering your meals. And the ultimate kicker here.
Let me guess.
Your entire procedure just cost up to 70% less than it would have at your local clinic.
See, that juxtaposition feels almost impossible. I mean, if you're conditioned to think of healthcare as something that's permanently tied to your zip code.
Oh, absolutely.
We are essentially trained to assume that high-end medical care and profound affordability, they just exist on completely opposite ends of a spectrum.
Right.
And that geography dictates our access to both.
But those geographical borders that we thought defined our healthcare options, they are dissolving rapidly. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Today, our mission for you listening is to demystify the exploding world of medical tourism. Specifically, we are focusing on a global powerhouse for plastic and cosmetic surgery, which is Thailand.
A fascinating hub.
It really is.
Yeah.
And to map this out, we are diving into a stack of foundational documents and this incredibly detailed audio guide from PlacidWay.
Right.
They basically act as our navigation tool for understanding this completely borderless marketplace today.
Which is so crucial because the logistical reality of, crossing an ocean for a major medical operation is infinitely more complex than just booking a vacation.
Totally.
Understanding how to orchestrate that safely, it requires a fundamental shift in how patients approach and manage their own care.
Yeah, before we pack our bags for Southeast Asia, we really have to understand the gravity of what drives millions of people to get on a plane for a medical procedure in the first place.
It's a huge decision.
Yeah, right. It's rarely just this casual desire to combine a tummy tuck with a beach trip. There's usually a massive push factor involved.
There is. The catalyst almost always stems from profound friction within the patient's local healthcare system.
Right.
The sources point out that for many, the reality at home is just deeply restrictive. I mean, patients are facing a combination of astronomical costs for elective or life-enhancing procedures.
They're dealing with those agonizing wait times.
Exactly. Year-long wait times just for an initial consultation sometimes.
Which is wild.
It is. And in other cases, patients are hitting a wall because the cutting-edge surgical technique or the specialized care they desperately need simply isn't offered domestically.
It creates this intense feeling of being trapped by your geography.
Yeah.
You're told the staggering price or you're told the wait time, and that's just the end of the conversation.
You just have to accept it.
Right. But the PlacidWay documents outline a completely different approach. They present this massive integrated global network that just bypasses those local bottlenecks entirely.
And the scale of that network is what allows the model to function. We are looking at a vetted directory of over 2,000 world-class medical centers.
2,000.
Yeah, spanning more than 60 countries and 250 cities.
That's huge.
It's massive. The platform was actually founded back in 2007 by Pramod Goel.
Oh, right. The guy who authored the Evolution of Medical Tourism book.
That's him. And the entire premise is built on the reality that elite, high-quality care exists globally, and patients should be able to access those massive cost savings without, sacrificing safety or clinical excellence.
It kind of makes me think of it like a high-stakes global search engine.
Yeah.
Like it operates with the ease of an Expedia or an Airbnb, but for your physical health.
That's a good way to put it.
You jump online, set your parameters, filter your options. But instead of just booking a villa in Tuscany for a long weekend, you are booking hope, you're booking healing, and really life-changing care.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the technological architecture of a platform facilitating medical procedures has to be entirely different from a standard travel booking site.
Oh, I'm sure. The privacy stuff alone.
Exactly. To make an Expedia for healthcare function securely across international borders, it relies heavily on customized CRM technology, so customer relationship management.
Right.
This isn't just about matching dates and hotel availability. It's about establishing secure, encrypted, real-time channels.
So a patient in Chicago can legally and safely share sensitive medical history and imaging with a leading surgeon in Seoul or Bangkok.
Precisely. The system has to be fundamentally built on pillars of transparency, trust, and compassion to actually work.
Well, that secure connection gives us our digital compass. So let's point it toward a true pioneer in this space. When you look at the sheer volume of international patients traveling for plastic and cosmetic surgery, Thailand consistently dominates the map.
And Thailand's position at the top of that list isn't accidental at all.
Why is-
No, the sources detail a very intentional, 3-decade-long evolution. The Thai government and the private sector collaborated extensively to build a world-class healthcare infrastructure parallel to their massive tourist industry.
Smart.
Very. They recognized early on that their deep-rooted cultural emphasis on hospitality and service could be adapted perfectly to clinical recovery.
Which creates that wild contrast you get. I mean, international patients are traveling there for major body contouring, liposuction, tummy tucks, Brazilian butt lifts.
Breast surgeries and full facelifts are incredibly common too.
Right. And the sources point out Thailand is a globally pioneering destination for gender affirmation surgeries. Which I'm curious, what actually drove them to become such an authority in that specific, highly complex surgical field?
It really stems from a unique intersection of culture and clinical practice. Historically, Thailand has had higher cultural visibility and acceptance of transgender individuals compared to many Western nations.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that acceptance drove a higher domestic volume of those specific procedures early on. And in surgery, volume drives expertise.
Because they're doing it so often.
Exactly. Over decades, that consistent high case volume allowed Thai surgeons to innovate and refine highly specialized, cutting-edge techniques long before many Western medical boards even standardized their own training for gender affirmation procedures.
Wow. And now you have these top-tier plastic surgeons who have completed fellowships internationally, and they're bringing global best practices back to hospitals that are designed to feel like five-star resorts.
The clinical environment there is truly engineered around service. You are recovering in internationally accredited facilities with dedicated concierge desks.
Gourmet, customized meals.
Yes, and a nursing staff-to-patient ratio that is often far more favorable than what you'd find in, overwhelmed Western hospital wards.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, the financial paradox of all this.
Let's hear it.
Even when you factor in a round-trip, long-haul flight across the globe, plus the cost of these luxurious recovery accommodations in Bangkok, the total out-of-pocket expense is often substantially lower than the surgery alone would cost in North America, Europe, or Australia.
It does sound unbelievable.
It feels like a glitch in the matrix. Like, how can a luxury experience with an elite surgeon cost less than a standard hospital visit at home?
Well, it requires a clear understanding of international economics to realize why lower cost absolutely does not equate to lower quality here.
Right, because that's everyone's first fear. Cheaper means worse.
Exactly. But the price difference is driven by systemic structural disparities between the countries. First, you are looking at significant labor arbitrage.
Meaning the cost of living.
Right. The cost of living and therefore the salaries for medical staff and facility maintenance are lower. But more crucially, the administrative overhead and the cost of medical malpractice insurance frameworks in Thailand are a fraction of what they are in the United States.
Right, so a state-of-the-art MRI machine or a surgical laser costs roughly the same in Bangkok as it does in Boston.
Exactly.
The massive discount isn't on the equipment, it's on the economic ecosystem surrounding the equipment.
That is the exact mechanism. That structural economic difference allows state-of-the-art technology and elite surgical skill to be offered at a highly accessible price point.
So we have this dream scenario, right? Elite surgical skill, luxury recovery, and massive savings. But biology and logistics do not care about a good deal.
They certainly do not.
Let's look at the harsh realities. Because traveling for surgery is absolutely not just a vacation with a medical appointment squeezed into the itinerary.
Treating it like a standard vacation is the quickest way a patient can compromise their own safety.
Yeah.
The sources are incredibly firm on the logistical risks beginning the moment you step onto the plane to go home. I mean, sitting in a pressurized cabin for 15 hours shortly after major surgery introduces severe, life-threatening dangers.
We're talking about blood clots, right? Specifically deep vein thrombosis, or DVT.
That's the one. Your body is already in a heightened state of trauma and inflammation post-surgery. Your coagulation cascade is essentially on overdrive.
Because it's trying to heal the wounds.
Right, pumping out clotting factors to heal the surgical sites. When you combine that hypercoagulable state with the profound immobility of a long-haul flight.
Just sitting there for a day.
Exactly. The blood pooling in your lower extremities creates a massive risk for DVT. And a clot forming there can break off and travel to the lungs, causing a pulmonary embolism.
So it's not just the altitude. It's the fact that your body is already in triage mode, and then you trap that blood in your legs for hours and hours.
It's a dangerous combination.
And even before you get on that plane, you have to survive the environment. I mean, Thailand is gorgeous, but it's tropical. Heat and humidity are basically the mortal enemies of a fresh surgical incision.
Oh, absolutely. Humidity creates a persistent breeding ground for bacteria, exponentially increasing the risk of post-operative infection.
Makes sense.
Furthermore, high heat causes vasodilation. Your blood vessels expand to cool your body down, which exacerbates post-operative swelling.
Ouch.
Yeah, and that can pull dangerous tension on fresh sutures. The medical guidelines are absolute on this. Patients must recover in highly controlled, heavily air-conditioned environments.
So no beach days.
Sun exposure can permanently darken surgical scars, and stepping into a swimming pool or the ocean is strictly off-limits due to the high risk of introducing pathogens into open wounds.
Man, you're in a tropical paradise, confined to the AC, staring at a beautiful ocean you cannot touch. And because of that DVT flight risk, you have to stay in the country for weeks just to ensure you get medical clearance to fly home safely.
Yes, it's a commitment.
So I have to push back here.
Please do.
What does this all mean for the patient? Is that 70% cost savings really worth the logistical nightmare and the severe physical risk of recovering on the literal other side of the planet? It seems like one broken air conditioning unit or, one language barrier misunderstanding could turn this into a total disaster.
I appreciate that pushback because that is the exact critical assessment every potential patient needs to make. The risk profile is undeniable.
It's scary.
It is, and that is precisely why preparation cannot be an afterthought handled from the airport lounge. The entire endeavor relies on highly dedicated, pre-planned support systems.
Right.
If a patient attempts to just piece this together on the fly and book standard tourist hotels, the risks entirely eclipse the benefits. But if the journey is engineered with precision, the clinical outcome can be transformative.
That phrase, engineered with precision, that's the crux of it.
It is.
To answer my own pushback, you need a mechanism that transforms a daunting logistical puzzle into a highly structured, insulated itinerary. And based on the sources, that is exactly how patients use the PlacidWay platform to mitigate these severe tropical recovery risks.
The platform is fundamentally a risk mitigation tool. The practical steps outlined in the guide demonstrate how a patient builds that insulated environment from the ground up. It starts with the search and compare functions.
Right, because you aren't just looking at price tags. When you search for a Thailand tummy tuck, you are filtering through comprehensive provider profiles.
Exactly.
You are examining the surgeon's international fellowship credentials, reading past patient outcomes, and specifically looking for facilities that explicitly cater to international patients.
Because facilities with established international departments already have protocols for the unique logistical hurdles foreign patients face.
They know what they're doing.
They do. When patients move to the inquiry stage, they are looking at comprehensive VIP packages constructed by these Thai providers. This is how the environmental and logistical risks are neutralized.
Because the package isn't just a surgical bill. It includes VIP airport transfers, so you aren't, dragging heavy luggage through Bangkok humidity trying to hail a cab while in pain.
A terrible idea.
Right. It includes luxury service departments tailored specifically for medical recovery, guaranteeing that top-tier, uninterrupted air conditioning.
Most crucially, these packages almost always incorporate dedicated patient coordinators and scheduled post-operative nursing care.
Which is so important.
Navigating a complex recovery in a foreign country is overwhelming. Trying to do it across a language barrier while vulnerable and heavily medicated is outright dangerous.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
A dedicated coordinator acts as a cultural translator and a patient advocate, ensuring the medical instructions are perfectly understood and that your physical environment remains optimal for healing.
It really shifts how you view the platform's role. PlacidWay isn't acting as a medical advisor. I mean, the sources explicitly state they do not give medical advice.
Correct.
They function as a digital concierge. They take this massive wall of Thai logistics and complex medical jargon and translate it into a clear, transparent marketplace where you can secure all those protective layers before you ever book a flight.
The digital concierge manages the external environment, so the surgeon can focus entirely on the procedure and the patient can focus entirely on healing. Yet, even with a flawless digital concierge securing your luxury apartment and private nursing, there is a fundamental human element. You still have to trust the person holding the scalpel.
That is the ultimate hurdle. How do you bridge a geographic gap of 8,000 miles to build that intimate, vital trust with a surgeon?
The sources isolate step 4 of the process as the absolute most critical phase, the virtual consultation.
Face-to-face video, it's a mandatory step.
That face-to-face interaction is non-negotiable. This is where the patient takes command of their own safety. It's the moment to look the potential surgeon in the eye, bypass the glossy brochures, and interrogate the clinical process.
You have to ask the hard questions here, not just about the final price, but asking why they recommend a specific surgical technique for your specific anatomy.
Yes.
Like if you're getting a rhinoplasty, what exact method are they using and why is it safer for your bone structure?
A skilled surgeon should be able to articulate their specific approach clearly without relying on jargon. Patients need to demand the exact protocol for complications.
Right. What happens if things go wrong?
Exactly. If an infection occurs, what is the immediate action plan? They need the week-by-week recovery timeline mapped out realistically, and they must comb through the quote to expose any hidden fees regarding anesthesia or follow-up garments.
It's also a crucial opportunity to gauge their bedside manner. Are they rushing you through a 10-minute video call looking at their watch? Or are they patiently listening to your goals and treating you like a partner in the medical process?
This raises an important question regarding patient empowerment. The burden of advocacy rests entirely on the patient in this borderless system.
You have to speak up for yourself.
Exactly. Assessing that communication style virtually ensures you are actively selecting a medical partner you trust, rather than passively accepting whoever happens to be assigned to your case at a local clinic.
And that partnership doesn't end when you finally get medical clearance to get on the plane back home. That brings up a massive piece of preparation, the sources stress. The return home has to be planned before you ever leave your house.
The continuum of care is where many international medical journeys fracture.
Yeah.
The procedure and the initial tropical recovery in Thailand are only the first phases of the healing process.
Because you can't just land back in Ohio or London to develop a minor complication like a seroma. That's a buildup of fluid under the skin, right?
Yes, exactly.
You can't just develop that and expect your local primary care doctor to magically know what a surgeon in Bangkok did to your body 3 weeks ago.
That lack of communication is incredibly dangerous. Patients must proactively secure a local primary care physician or specialist willing to take over post-operative monitoring
Before they leave.
They need a local professional who has been fully briefed on the surgical notes, who is prepared to safely remove any remaining sutures, and who is ready to immediately intervene if a delayed complication arises weeks after the patient returns to their normal life.
It's about seamlessly stitching the global together with the local.
Beautifully put.
So to distill all these complex threads down for you listening, Thailand genuinely offers this unparalleled synthesis of elite surgical expertise, luxury hospitality, and profound cost savings. The land of smiles has absolutely earned its dominance in the plastic surgery market.
Unlocking those benefits, however, requires rigorous, active participation. The savings and the luxury are the reward for meticulous research and preparation.
Right.
Platforms like PlacidWay provide the transparent framework to make that preparation possible, mitigating the severe logistical risks, but they are tools that the patient must wield diligently.
You cannot just click a button, outsource your safety, and hope for the best. You have to use the tools to advocate for yourself at every single step.
Absolutely.
Which actually leads to a thought that builds on everything we've explored today. If platforms like PlacidWay can successfully globalize and streamline highly complex, incredibly intimate procedures like plastic surgery.
Effectively making it routine to cross an ocean for a major operation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What does this mean for the future of your routine local healthcare?
It challenges the fundamental monopoly local healthcare providers have always held. If patients realize they can command a borderless market for a major surgery with total transparency and incredible service, that expectation for cost-effectiveness and patient-centric care will inevitably alter how they approach everyday medical needs.
Seriously. If a luxury hospital in Bangkok is willing to court you with transparent pricing, elite surgeons, and a digital concierge, will your local neighborhood clinics soon have to compete with that same level of service just to keep you as a patient?
It's a huge shift.
It turns out, the massive barrier to global healthcare wasn't a physical border. It was just a lack of connection and information. And now you hold the power to make incredibly informed global decisions about your own body.
Yep.
The world is quite literally your waiting room.
It really is.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the source material. Keep asking the hard questions, and we wish you a safe and successful journey wherever it may take you.